Hello, my friends. I am just outside of Vancouver, Canada today, and I'll tell you why I'm excited. Because, do you see this sign? Yeah, no visitors beyond this point. But today, we all get the exclusive opportunity to step inside Pazmac, a company started in 1972. 26 years ago, moved into this facility, over 50 employees, investing in automation and machine monitoring. And Tim is going to join us inside. I'm not sure exactly where he is. I'm not even sure if he's ready, but I'm gonna go search for him and see if I can find him somewhere in this awesome building. Tim, I have been wandering all over your amazing factory looking for you. What are you doing in here?
Just checking stuff out, Tony. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, to the audience. This is very exciting to be here. Let's start with, what are we looking at here?
Well, this is our laser overlay room. So we have a 8 kilowatt diode laser here that we use for applying hard face to different substrates for wear components.
That already sounds above my pay grade, but I like the style of it. Now, I am fortunate enough, Tim, that I got to hang out with you and Stacy and some of the other folks, and I got to learn a little bit about this and your investment in it about, what, was it 13 years ago or so? And,
yes,
and
exactly.
Kind of like additive manufacturing before additive manufacturing was cool, because now everyone's doing it, right?
Right. I mean, it's a different form of additive, but essentially we're adding, in some instances, 2 layers of wear component or buffering onto different substrates, again, to provide them with extra wear capability in their end use.
Well, I want to talk about this more, but I want to do it while we walk, because there's a lot of this factory I want to show the audience today, and we certainly could talk, you and I, for the next hour and a half. How many of you would tune in for an hour? Not to me, I'm sure, but for Tim, we'd probably stay an hour and a half, right? I guarantee you they would for you. So, all right, as we're walking out of here, Tim, and showing more of the factory, we're going to the simple, I say simple, but warehousing area where you're doing a lot of that out there, cutting material, a couple of Matas out there. For the audience who has not had the opportunity to learn about what we just discussed in that automation cell, what were you making, or what are you making? What's the purpose of that cell to help you make things for your customers?
Well, essentially, it's accentuating a lot of products that we're involved with that offers us the opportunity to give our customer turnkey components that they can use in their assemblies. So it's a value add. So it's an opportunity for us to sell something that wasn't necessarily one of our core competencies initially, but we took it on with the thought that we can promote our business further with that customer and in that client type group.
Okay, I hope you guys understood that. I think I got it as well. Really a cool setup in there, Tim. All right, you, my friend, are kind of a DMG MORI house, aren't you? And we're about to open the doors. Can we open the big red one?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Oh, it's more fun that way, yes. Swing into the machine shop where we start to get the noise, the sound, the humming of the chips, and I see a lot of DMG MORIs.
Yeah, very loyal to the brand. They've been a phenomenal provider for us for a number of years. We like the commonality of the platforms. We like the serviceability, because we do a lot of the service work ourselves in-house. We have people on staff that are capable of doing that sort of thing. And essentially, we like the robustness and the reliability of the machinery. It's very well made. It's great value for the money as far as we're concerned.
Well, we'll get into the parts you're making in just a minute, but I gotta take a step back. You said in-house service. We have a mutual friend in Mr. Dr. Mori. How did you convince him of allowing you to do in-house service?
Well, we had some conversations over the years, and he was very accommodating relative to helping us out with controlling our downtime by allowing us to train up some of our people on staff through their facilities, which in turn has developed into a scenario where we can diagnose quickly and we can order parts rapidly and get our machines back online. Because as we know in this business, Tony, the only time we're making money is when we're cutting chips.
We say that all the time, and my friend, oh my gosh, how stressed out are we when a machine goes down?
Sleepless nights.
You are exactly right. All right, let's bring the audience on. Let's take a look at a couple of these machines. As we're taking a walk, Tim, what are you making here? Super alloys. I've heard titanium. I've heard Inconel. I've heard some names I haven't really heard before, thanks to our buddy Stacy.
Well, essentially, we're working on foundationally products that can be rather difficult to produce. And a lot of those are complicated by the types of materials that are involved. So over the years, we've developed the skills around being able to manage the production of parts in exotic materials, or what are referred to as exotic materials. Probably a lot more standard these days than most people think. But we're working with Nitronic 50, for example, in subsea applications, and it's a special blend of Nitronic 50. So it's not the standard stuff. This is uniquely made by a provider out of Europe, and it meets our customers' requirements for survivability or durability underwater. And again, very, very proud of our crew for being able to adapt to managing that material with a very high success rate.
You guys aren't playing around. I've talked to your team. You yourself and Stacy have been just so informative with what you're making. You're talking almost zero, if not darn close to, I mean, scrap rates are almost non-existent. You're bringing up materials when you said maybe they're not as exotic, but it's not aluminum, it's not regular steel,
no.
It's not plastic, it's not even in the world of the peaks or the graphites, which some people are playing in. You're playing in what I would consider exotic materials as well, with some of it, which I learned from our friend Stacy, that can move and shift, and no two are alike. How frustrating would that be as a machinist?
Well, everybody in the industry knows that what the average public individual doesn't know, which is, yeah, material moves a lot when you're cutting it. So it's all in selection of tooling, all in the way that's programmed, the way it's fixtured. We were talking earlier about the magic that's involved in fixturing, in the tooling selection, in how you set up and run your programs, how you the stages of material removal, how you lead up to getting to that finished part. And again, the tolerances that the industry sees these days are crazy. Engineers are out there designing very, very complex componentry.
Tim, I also have to bring something up. As you talk, we're actually in a section where I see a lot of familiarity with the B-axis head that allows you to do a bit more on what we're now calling twin spindles instead of main spindle and sub spindle, because you get to do the same thing on both sides, you know, OD, ID, whatever it might be. But these machines do not look like they were purchased yesterday or the day before, which means you got into this technology before anyone else.
Well, not necessarily before anybody else. I remember being at IMTS about 2001 or 2002, whichever year it was that happened. We purchased our first MT from DMG at that point. So it would be that machine right there. So in 2002, we were moving forward into the mill turn world and learning a lot. And since then, we've been able to participate even in some design suggestions with DMG relative to how they might move forward with their product. Because we put them to the test.
I'm glad you brought that up as well, because I see a machine over there, which I believe is doing some skiving, and it's doing its job.
Yep.
And we've seen machine shops where there's hundreds, or maybe even more than hundreds of those lined up. Can we talk about skiving on one of these DMG MORI machines? Because I know it's something that you guys are known. I mean, let's talk about the fact that Pazmac yourself have been so innovative in the way that you've created opportunities to do more within a machine. You've been the kind of the leaders, and you can say revolutionize or evolutionize. I like both words, just kind of combining things that don't usually go together. But let's talk about that aspect of your creativity, because that has allowed you guys to thrive since 1972, moving here 26 years ago and remaining a leader. And I bring that up as well, and this is for the audience, because my friend Tim here and his colleague Stacy, they want to work more with each other. They want to bring companies together. These cards that are held so close to our chest, saying, I can't share. You don't get to know my secrets. I'll give you a secret right now. We all kind of know what you're doing, so let's come and work together. So that's the big story to say, Tim, you've been doing this a long time. You have a lot of information. You have a lot of wisdom within the industry as well. So let's talk about some of that as we continue to go through Pazmac.
Well, we think, and we're quite open about the fact that we think the industry should be a lot more collaborative. We're pretty much an open book. We protect our customers' information, that's paramount. But as far as generating opportunities in this industry, everybody faces the same challenges in terms of capacity and being able to invest in capability. So if you've got complementary services or capabilities that you can offer people, why not start the conversation? Why not bridge that gap? See if we can all thrive together. I mean, it's a very expensive industry to be involved with. You need to have great justification in the ROI before you step off and buy a new piece of gear these days, and then you're hoping that your market's going to remain stable. But if you got a strong customer base and somebody else out there can help you, and we do this on a regular basis, help you make a deliverable to your customer that they would like you to make, why not start the conversation? See if you can bridge those gaps. Getting back to your question about the old shaper over there, it's been a bulletproof, reliable machine for us for a number of years. Yes, it's cutting internal splines for us, but we wanted to get into skiving, so we stepped off that bridge, and our partners at DMG helped us out a ton with that. And we all took the risk together and wound up being able to do it a number of years ago. And it's pretty exciting innovation. Even though it's considered to be common amongst a lot of the industry, there was a little bit of work and ingenuity that went into that. And we were willing to step up and be the active participant with some of our customers.
Well, I look forward to talking more about that. Let's invite the audience to keep showing off these DMG MORI machines and some of the technology that you are machining while bringing in Datanomix, which I see the monitors all over the place. But before we get into the Datanomix side of things, I actually want to bring up to the audience, I've invited this guy and Stacy for a podcast down to Florida. I hope they join me. I'm also going to do my very best to see if we can get some sort of roundtable going at IMTS. So my friends at IMTS, yep, right here on the sleeve, we appreciate your sponsorship. So my friends at IMTS, try and get a roundtable of this concept so that we can help machine shops, help machine shops, help machine shops. We're all helping each other. We're selling a lot of machines and products, but let's help the small to medium-sized shops grow and thrive as well. And then on top of that, Tim and I might get back together around September, October, November time. We got something special coming. We'll tell you more about that later as well. All right, Tim, let's continue to walk. I noticed that as I'm looking around, I don't see a ton of raw material inventory. You guys are pretty quick at turning things around and getting them done, aren't you?
Yeah, we like to keep it lean. Essentially, we haven't invested a lot of space in holding material stock. Our team is incredibly good. We have a broad and very diverse vendor base. Suppliers are extremely cooperative in helping us be as close to just in time with our material as possible. As you know, you can get into the production of some of these things, and the duration that it's in production can be fairly lengthy. If you're not actually putting cost into it, or you can hold off on when you have to get the cost into it, it's advantageous to the bottom line. So we bring it in. We have a couple of big CNC amount of saws back there that can knock through the material at a very rapid rate, very accurately, and then we can put it into production almost immediately.
This is not your first day on the job, is it?
No, I've been in manufacturing for well over 35 years, and in not only in the CNC world, but in tech companies and retail product production as well. So.
And somehow he still looks younger than me. He's been doing this for 35 years. I don't know how he's done it. One of my favorite machine tools, although I say that all the time, because I think they're all my favorite really, but one of my favorite machine tools is horizontal machining. And the reason I like horizontal machining is for the aspects that a lot of people realize. It's kind of an easy transition into automation. Even if you haven't bought a full cell, it allows you to set up while another piece is running. The way the coolant flows knocks the chips off. Because the chips can get removed, you get longer tool life, better finishes. There's just a lot of bonuses to horizontal machining. So let's talk about this area that you have set up for your horizontal machining here.
Well, we've been involved with the horizontal side of things almost since we moved into this building, and essentially found enormous benefits. We used to have a lot more VMCs on the floor, and we moved away from that because the horizontal, relative to the attributes you're just explaining, are very much more suited for production. We're just talking about whether we're going to move into a cell-based system here in the next little while. We're also looking at whether or not we want to consider 5-axis, which I should make a comment on relative to the fact that our first MTs were actually 9-axis machines. So we are very used to multi-axis work and feeling very comfortable with adapting to whatever technologies come along. But as far as the flow of product goes, yes, it's a great introductory platform for getting involved in how you can preset something and keep the flow going, run beyond the end of a shift, that type of thing. Maximize your spindle time.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a walk this way as we continue the tour of horizontal machining. I like 5-axis machining. You mentioned 9-axis over there, 7-axis as well, I believe.
Yes.
I personally like a good VMC, but in the world of automation and trying to get things done, if I don't have some sort of 0-point fixture or some sort of robot or cobot cell, I almost feel like I'm not getting things done in time. The average utilization rate of a VMC, I believe, is around 40%.
Yeah.
How can you make money off of 40%? So this is why we decide, and there's still a place, don't get me wrong, do not get me started and all of these comments come through about VMCs, I'll be in big trouble. But at the same time, I do see an evolution between a manual machine to a VMC to a standard turning center, and then we have the horizontals and the 5-axis and 7 and 9-axis and so on and so forth, right?
Well, the done-in-one principles that exist with like a mill turn platform are very attractive, but now it's about how you load those machines. As we all know within the industry circles right now, finding talent to run your equipment is probably one of the biggest challenges. So automation is an obvious step forward, but you also have to understand the concepts of how you get there. So we have a manufacturing engineering team here. They work diligently on figuring out what our next best opportunities are for stepping into those realms. And I know there's a lot of companies out there that have been at it for a long time. We're working on how we do it with the product mix that we have. As a matter of fact, you're just a little ahead of us, but we're bringing in a robotic deburring cell here in the next little while to help out with some of our very intricate internal deburring.
Does that mean myself and the audience are invited back?
Absolutely.
Stacy, do you agree? We can shake that camera up. Yes, all right, I like it. So we'll continue to walk, and as we do so, I noticed some guys who have been here a long time, but I'm also noticing some young guys. I do not want to forget, we got to speak about Datanomix as well, because that's
Yes.
a part of your new processing
Yes.
as we're getting more and more into automation. But again, before we get into that and the importance of being able to monitor everything, how do you deal with having a high mix, low volume? If we're discussing, well, it might be the simple answer if we're getting more into automation, right? But you guys deal with exotic materials.
Yes.
You're dealing with smaller and smaller jobs that can come in, but you have some regular ones as well. But I guess my real question is, how do you personally here at Pazmac go between this high mix, low volume and balance of everything that's going on currently in our industry?
Well, it's always been foundationally what the business is all about. We deal with OEMs on repeat, intricate product. So we may have parts that get produced 5 times a year, 10 off per order. But we get an upfront look at how we want to approach that job so we can minimize the downtime from the last job that was running on a work center to introducing that job in and getting it up and running. So it's critically important that we do all the upfront work correctly to make sure we address all those issues you talked about. How are we going to fixture it? Part holding, how are we going to inspect it? How are we going to program for it? What tool selections are going to get used? What commonality do we have in our tool selections from a previous experience that drives us towards coming up with a viable solution so we can maintain the economics? The greatest thing we have to remember is we need to keep our customers competitive at the same time. We need to know in their BOM roll up for their assembly that the parts we're delivering for that are helping them stay viable. They need to make money. We need to be able to make money. Everybody in the ecosystem for manufacturing, specifically machining, needs to be able to make money.
Tim, don't tell anyone, but it's almost like I've done this before, because as we turn this corner, and speaking of making money, and speaking of processes, we see a beautiful TV with all sorts of colors on it, which leads us to that Datanomix conversation finally, and truly understanding what's happening in our shop. Can we talk about that?
Absolutely. having been in operations for as long as I have, it's critically important that you are aware of what each work center is doing, how your people can contribute to enhanced uptime. And that awareness here was complex. With a system like Datanomix, you can be anywhere in the shop, and as you can see, it's a bit of a different layout, but our production supervisors can be anywhere in the shop and look up instantly and recognize where there may be a constraint, where they need to focus their energy. And essentially that's gold as far as making sure that we have the best potential for optimizing each piece of equipment.
I would say that what you're saying right now is gold as well. And we're gonna head into quality in just a minute because I know how important quality is for you. But before we do that, I see this young man here utilizing the crane to pick up parts. And I bring that up because don't you have a gym just upstairs? By the time he's done at the gym lifting weights, he could pick these up as well. What I bring that up for is because Pazmac does a really good job of caring about the employees and coworkers, making sure that they're healthy as well, right?
Well, our owner, Steve, is always pushed the mandate for wellness in our organization. So part of that, and it predates my employment here at the company, is they have a personal trainer available for each employee in the business to take advantage of during the week, on breaks, and a day before the start of the day, where they can go up and train. So we have a gym upstairs where people can stay fit. As we know, it's a physical business to work in. And reduction of injuries. We all know that endorphins are fantastic for mindset. All of that's net positive. So we always put people first. It's our team that's paramount to our success. The rest of it, as Steve's fond of saying, is just bricks and mortar. That doesn't matter how good these machines are. If people aren't happy and feeling good and healthy, they don't run.
Say it again for the people in the back row who are not listening. Doesn't matter how good the machines are. If we're not happy,
they aren't running.
They aren't running. All right, let's head into quality. Tim, you were once in a band, I believe, a little bit of a singer, I think. The reason I say that is because Tim brought up, and my brain works in weird ways, but he said about getting physical, so instantly my brain goes, let's get physical. Sorry, I had to do it.
Career change in order?
Oh gosh, no. Oh gosh, we'll be in big trouble. If that's my future career, we'll be in big trouble. So quality, you have a statement here that you said when it comes to being able to measure a part. I've heard statements from my side of town that say, I can't make a part that I can't measure, but quality is extremely important here to you guys. So let's talk about that.
Well, we've invested very heavily in quality and the control of how we produce product, and the validation of the product is absolutely critical. So we're fond of saying, we have no business making parts for somebody if we can't validate them to their spec.
It's a quality statement. Yeah, dad jokes. I'm at the age, I'm sorry, but it is a quality statement. As we're closing down this tour, sitting in quality right now, we saw all the DMG MORIs as we were walking around. You talked about automation, more of it even coming. We talked about high mix, low volume. We talked about kind of the labor shortage and finding good people out there. Do you have any messages, final messages that you could offer to the audience about what the future of Pazmac looks like, what you could looking to do in the next few years, and maybe how someone out there, if they're looking to connect with you, how they can find you if they want to work with you as well?
Well, they can check out our website, which is recently updated. It basically explains the story and our history, I think, quite succinctly. But if somebody wants to reach out and talk to us, we're wide open. We'd love to hear from you. Basically anybody. So if you're looking for a job opportunity, if you're looking for a part that you are challenged with in your supply chain right now, we want to hear about it. That's part of what we call the Pazmac challenge. Bring us your difficult part. We'll take a look at it. You're unemployed right now and you're looking for a great career opportunity, come and talk to us.
Very well said. For everyone watching, I live in Florida right now and love it there, but this is a gorgeous part of the world just outside of Vancouver, Canada. And I tell you, if you're looking for a great place of a work-life balance with a team that's willing to invest in you, invest in technology, certainly your future, I highly recommend you give them a shout. In fact, I'm going to give Tim my resume as well, but for the summer months, because I'm going to go back and forth. We'll see how this works.
Oh, you've got it figured out, don't you?
I'm working on it. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to see you outside in just a minute. Wow, how incredible was that, my friends? Spending time with Tim and learning a little bit more about this legacy company from 1972. Tim is incredible. Stacy is amazing. We got to learn so much about the super alloys, the exotic materials that they make, and how they're helping the world around us. Because manufacturing, yeah, just look around. It makes everything. And this is Pazmac. If you are out there looking for a stellar career, I highly recommend you reach out to them as well. Thank you all for joining me on this tour. I myself am so excited now. I don't even know what to do. Hold on, I do know what to do. We'll see you next time.